Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and also I'm true speaker, healer, energy worker, guide, mentor, co-creator, and galactic ambassador from Pleiadians. And with me today is two lovely ladies, Morganne Rayne, spiritual consultant, gratefully providing access to higher dimensions of being. Morgan has been called the healer of healers as a way to describe her unique spiritual tools she shares. Morgan is here to serve those who seek greater understanding of their sacred spiritual self, have the deep desire to integrate that consciousness in their 3D world. And with us today again is Jeanne Reina, licensed psychotherapist in state of Washington in USA, works primarily with early childhood trauma, sexual abuse, and emotional neglect, helping clients empower themselves. Jeanne sees herself as lifetime student of growth. She continually takes classes to enhance her knowledge base. So, hello, lovely ladies. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
Oh,
How you doing today?
Start with Jeannie.
oh, I'm doing fabulous. I'm loving life.
Great, great. How about you, Morgan?
I'm good. I'm extremely busy. I made some decisions which made me move into a real hyper busy mode for here a short period of time. So yeah, just coming up for air for the most part. Lots going on. So, but good in all of it. Just like it feels good to make decisions.
Abs-
It's like, okay, because I was in a non-decision place for a while. You know how that is, waffling from one thing. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. Oh, I could do this. Right. So I was in that position here for about, I don't know, about a month now. I guess that's not too long. But the energy that gets mm, it kind of gets stuck when you haven't made the decision, right? You live in just the, well, this could be, that could be, I could do this, right? And then when I made the decision, all of a sudden it was like this burst of energy happened in me, and I was moving on my decision. And I've thought about that because I think that a lot of people don't decide, they waffle, right? And then, but what's when you make that decision, you've launched yourself in a direction. Um, and it's a good thing. So anyway, so that's how I'm doing today.
yeah, I'm actually working with a client with that right now. That she's she's living with this problem, she says, but it's not actually a problem. It's just that she hasn't made a decision.
Exactly.
And so it becomes a problem because she can't make a decision about her life one way or the other. And so it's because what's she's taking in is that everybody else's opinion about what it is instead of going within and finding herself and her own inner guidance.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can get really it can suck a lot of energy from us and a lot of you know um, make us really really tired and have problems when we don't go within and listen to our inner guidance.
Yeah. It makes you stagnant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you were talking, I just realized that making a decision is part of our sovereignty. It's part of our free will. It's a part of all that. And if we don't exercise that, if we don't make the decisions, then we're not exercising our own sovereignty to express, to experience. We become stagnant, and we also become at the whim of others, right? It's like, oh, I should do, and then we move into the shoulds. Oh, I should do what they say. Oh, I need to do it. You know, it's like we go back and forth, and that's not sovereignty. That's not spiritual awareness. You know, that's
Right.
key.
Right. There's so many people who give their power away, you know, to authority, a government, like different entity, like different places, and I think, you know, the Holy Spirit wants us to be in our own decision making, because that's where we get the richness of life, and that's where everybody really can give back and you know, and fully express themselves in a way that is beautiful for the world. But as long as we're listening to other people's, you know, projections and opinions, and we're going to be lost, you know. And so it's only when we go within and really get our inner guidance where we can fully own our own power and our own authenticity and be sovereign.
Yeah, you know, this is reminding me of that Goethe. Daga, why don't you talk for a moment? I want to.
I actually, it's sort of in the same lines. What we're starting at the moment, Galactic Federation give me just little bit to read. Yeah, so I will read because I think it's sort of in alignment. It is energy update for June 26th. The crystals are saying today after the new moon is gentle awakening, a time when your intentions begin to settle into energy of becoming. Through the moon is still dark, there is quite magic in this moment of new beginnings as it starts to wax to full. Trust that the seeds you are planted are already taking root, even if you can't see growth just yet. Stay hopeful, stay aligned, and let the energy guide you forward. This is why, when we are challenged to trust our evolution or goals or spiritual insights, it is so important to move into our hearts, which need to be cleared of love influences, reconnecting to trust, surrender, and patience as we navigate the challenges. There is always time. Healing, preparation, and patience are key to achieving aligned outcome. You are always in the best moment of your life. You could ever become who you truly are and shift all the conditions that keep you back from releasing of old life and create now the one you desire to live. All comes as well. Heal, reconnect ourselves, and surrender to divine timing. May you surrender to the beauty, love, and wisdom of your precious heart, beloved. Within infinite love, we are with you, Pleiadian Council of Light.
You know, that last sentence totally summed up what Jeannie said about, you know, when we bounce back and forth listening to others, but it's only when we move back into our own beingness, our own, our heart, our that we can, you know, that's where we decide from.
Again, at that time when I was given this message, I was like, okay, that's very much reminds me about your carrot seed again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
where be patient, surrender. Doesn't matter even if you don't see, it's still growing.
That's right. It's still growing. I pulled up that Goethe. It actually, I've heard that Goethe actually didn't write this, but you know, people attribute it to him. So we're gonna read it in a way. It's not important who wrote it. The universe wrote it, by the way.
That's right. You know, when I give to my clients any coach, I absolutely disregard who is giving them.
Exactly.
I do not give these names and do not write. I'm not interested in remember those names myself because I know that's another download from above.
Exactly.
Where is the point? Who first gets it?
Yep. Whoever first gets it, right? Because how many times have you had like a brilliant idea and you didn't move on it, you didn't decide on it, and then you hear someone else is doing it?
Mm.
Like, that was my idea. No, it was a universal idea, and someone said yes. You did not say yes. That's the power to decide right there, right? Is when you say yes. So let me read this. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would have never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance which no man could have ever dreamed would come his way. Whatever you do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
It's beautiful.
Right. And it's that boldness. It's the courage. I would call boldness like courage, right? To say yes to you, say yes to what's coming up for you. It's like, what do you want to decide? I've always loved that quote because I think, making decisions, especially when you come from families that didn't teach you how to make decisions, or they made decisions that weren't working for you, right? This is where we get, and that's the thing too, that when people talk about, oh, what my family did to me, right? In Course in Miracles, it says we come fully intact with all our issues to our families, right? So it's really who we need to look at. It's really, what did I bring to this table? Why is it that I'm looking at this? Well, it's because it's within you. It's probably because you came here to heal that. Not only to heal it for you, but it's to heal the consciousness of that. Again, that consciousness is not for you. It's for all of humanity. So when we make our decisions based on who we are and what's right within us, now we're the magic piece of the puzzle that fits into the whole scheme of everything. But if we're trying to take on everybody else's thoughts and beliefs and patterns and go out into the world and try to fit in, we're a misfit. We're just a misfit. It's only when we come back home to who we are, come back to our own sense of self and beingness, that we begin to fit in to the grand scheme of things. And I like that puzzle infinitely better than trying to fit into the world.
Absolutely.
I find I don't fit in. Absolutely, almost nothing what everybody are fans of doesn't bother me at all. And really, that's very strange. I remember how in my childhood, not childhood, teenage years, more like at school, everybody was fans of this discotheques and all these groups, and they knew the words of the songs, and they was going and jumping up and down and screaming, and okay, I was like sitting in corner and don't understand where is what is going on, why they act like that, because in me this music didn't give absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because a lot of music I mean, you can go back and do a little bit of research, and I invite our listeners to go back and go do some research on the music industry and the tuning of how the music industry has tuned our music. It keeps us from it being on a higher resonance. It lowers us. A lot of times, music is another. If you think about if you think about the discotheque, but you also look at like churches where they're doing praise and worship, and there's a group ego thing that's going on, right? In church, everybody's praise and worship, everybody's on the same page. It's a group energy, right? Same thing at the discotheque. They get into the rhythm and the energy of it, and it's a group thing, and they're all moving and swaying to the to the same thing.
And the same, but it's absolutely the same going on in sports fields. Yeah,
Yep.
I was actually watching some of that was that time when I started go through rabbit holes and learn lots of things.
Uh-huh.
And I was watching pictures of many these big open stadiums, yeah?
Uh-huh.
They all from above look like a reptilian eye,
Mm.
Yep.
yeah?
It's all
And this energy going up, yeah, for feeding.
Yep, that's all that subliminal programming, right? I mean, they found it in the film industry. They would embed like a little a microsecond of a something that they wanted you, and they've proved it, like buy Coke, right? Just and it gives you the idea. Well, I want to ask whenever I'm like getting stuff, where's this coming from? Who wants that Coke? Who wants that bag? Who's doing that, right? Is that my authentic being? And that's um asking for that, because a lot of times it's not. And this is where the power of discernment comes in, right? So we discern, and the only way we can discern is if we're true to ourselves. We know if that vibrates or resonates with our being. So yeah, music is an interesting thing. And we can talk about the hertz of music, how that was shifted and changed to from the like I. It's interesting. I play keyboard, and I also I've been playing a beautiful hang drum that's keyed to I think it's 432 hertz frequency. Boy, I tell you, I get a whole
432 is angelic frequency.
yeah. So it's tuned.
432.
Yeah, so it's tuned to that. When I play that hang drum, I am it's almost like I'm my frequency gets unwound from the lower frequency and just lifts me up beautifully. It's so interesting how the tonalities of that. Well, it's like the monks that would, do chimes and the bells, right? All of that's a higher frequency. But then I try to play, I don't even want to play my keyboard anymore because it's not tuned that way. And it's almost as though it feels uh, flat and thick, where playing the energy of the hang drum feels like light and beautiful ethereal music. It's very different, but again, there's a choice and a decision to be made about where you're going to go and what you're going to do with that frequency. Yeah.
I actually been at that time when I already years ago when I fall and I badly damaged my back of my skull there. Then I was listening a lot brain healing music like frequency, not music but frequencies. I was all day. I was only sitting and listening. I think my healing. I am able to speak again English, yeah, properly, and and think and create and so on is a lot. Thank you for this frequency, what I've been listening all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a miracle that happened with frequency, and music, right? So I have a son that was born very premature. And he had several things that were quite cooked, right? Because he was born very early. And one of those things were his ears. So when he was born, he was already in a hearing deficit. He could only hear like maybe 10% of any sound. So of course there's the journey of helping support him through whatever that was. And of course we did there's a University of Washington hospital that kind of scooped him up under their wing, and started we worked with speech, and we're getting ready now to put in hearing aids for him. And this child, we didn't know until we had even more sophisticated technology. We understood all my son could hear was high frequency. That's all he could hear. Can you imagine just only hearing high frequency? It made his little brain tired. Like we couldn't go into places that had big halide lights because they put off a high frequency tone. He would just grab his head and scream and kick. And he got labeled a behavioral problem, but it was all about what his ears were hearing. So, as God would have it, we were at church camp, and a woman, I actually knew her because I'd been in global spiritual studies with her before I'd ever had this child. She came up to me and she said, "I think I can help your son." I go, "Well, we got the whole University of Washington working on him. I don't know. We'll see, right?" And the thing was, I had to have 12 days of availability to take him to their clinic. So I decided to do that on a Christmas break, because we had good time to be able to take the time and take him back and forth to these sessions. And what they would do is they would with music, a man had developed this way of waking up the auditory brain, waking it up, because what happens is that auditory brain will go to sleep, right? So my son had I forgot one part. He had surgery to repair what was not right in his ears. I won't go into all the details of that. So now he can hear a little bit, right? But again, it's all on that high frequency, which made it worse. They worked with sound, toning and sounds in his ears, and began to wake up that brain. Now, prior to that, my son had very limited language. He was 6 years old at this time, had limited language. No one really could understand what he was saying because it always sounded like he was underwater, which basically he kind of was, right? It's just, he has no access to the outside hearing world. He had no control over his bodily functions, because what we understand is one of those primal sensories was missing for him, which was hearing. So his whole being is using its energy to try and pick up on the hearing. So his bodily responses were very slow. So I began to understand about this what was going on for him, that he was not a behavioral problem, that he had an auditory brain problem. So so I started the process with them. The third day into the process, we're driving there, and there's a little voice that comes out from the back of the car that I didn't recognize. And it was my son. And he actually had read, nobody knew he knew how to read, right? Because we thought he was just pretending to read. No, he saw a sign that said eat on it, EAT, eat. And I heard the little voice in the back say, that sign says eat. And I'm like, what? And then my daughter was in the back. She goes, Mom, Micaiah talked. Micaiah talked, right? And it was like I pulled over. I was Joyce, and my son's like looking at us like, what's going on? So we finished all the treatments, right? And the upshot of everything is with frequency, with tone, with sound, with music, opened up my son's auditory brain, and they brought him from a very low level of hearing to an 80% hearing level, which is huge. Most people don't even hear on that, but was even huger. He heard on all the levels. He heard low tones, mid tones, high frequency tones, and it was through frequency, through music that happened.
Wow.
And you know what? So all the behavioral issues stopped, every one of them. The kid knew how to read, right? He could read. He had to learn how to work with his pronunciations because he had learned right. So now he can learn how to talk like this, and then people could understand him. That was a process that took us like 4 months to take him from severe hearing disability to the ability to hear more balanced than anyone. So it's how we use it, right? And I think that that process, if anybody's interested in it, it's called auditory integration therapy. Auditory integration therapy. It's powerful. It was invented by a French doctor, Borard, I think is his last name, and he designed it for opera singers who were losing their voices, losing
Wow.
their pitch and their tone. And he would use it for them to bring that back up so that they could perform.
And just to be clear, this was not from the University of Washington. Is that correct?
No. No. In fact, they didn't want me to do that. That was my first clue that, yeah, go do this. Right. Because they thought it would mess up what they were doing. And indeed it did.
Right.
Because we don't need hearing aids. We still need the speech therapy, but we had private speech therapy for that. So it was their model. And if I would have, moved on that model, my son here, he would have been able to hear with hearing aids or cochlear implants or whatever road they wanted to take us down. But we didn't have to do that because the body, we are resonance, we are frequency, right? And that experience with my son really showed to me what the power of frequency and sound and resonance and tone can be. It can heal.
But that actually means any deaf person can try this therapy and maybe get healed.
Yeah, I know what worked for my son. So
why I'm asking, because my partner is deaf. He, after 18 years in army, he just one moment just became deaf. Yeah, and they couldn't do anything with it.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's with hearing aid, but if it's possible with these sounds, that would be interesting.
I don't know. I can only report what happened for my son, right? And I will also tell you, there was a little girl in the program that she was the appointment right after us, right? So I got to know her father. His father was the one that was bringing her in, and she was severely autistic and had never spoken. And they had been in the program. They'd already done one series in the program, and they were back for a second series because from the first series, she was starting to become verbal, not fully, but starting to become more verbal. And now, and then through the second series, she was becoming way more engaged with people and becoming more and more verbal. And I lost track of them because we finished our session and we were done, right? But even with autism, is it an auditory brain that shut down? We don't know. But for her, again, working with the sounds and the tones, brought her from a nonverbal to a verbal state and an engaging state. So yeah, the power of tone, sound, frequency.
So thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to your decision to leave the University of Washington, which is the authority there, and go with this unknown here. What made you do that?
Because when I looked at it, all of a sudden within me, it was like an alignment within me of that's the correct way to go. It was not like because I began to read about it, right? And what I was reading about before I brought him made sense to me, and it was like my guidance was saying, do this, do this. And it was like everything fell in place. It was like when I made the decision, everything fell in place. I didn't have the money to pay for his treatment. The money showed up. I am not kidding you. It was so weird. Someone said, hey, I received this little inheritance, but I don't need it. And my guidance said that you might need it. I hadn't even asked for anything, right? And it was exactly what I needed to pay for it.
Wow.
Exactly what I needed to pay for it. So it was like, again, I'll go back to that providence piece, right? Once you make that decision, providence, all manner of assistance will show up when you're on that right track. So it was receiving that out of the blue gift, and it was the exact same amount of money I needed to pay for the treatment. I went, oh my God, this is supposed to be, right? So my decision making is really based on one, I don't neglect the world. I read about things, right? Because you can get tricked into stuff. But my guidance was like, no, this is what's correct. And then the money showed up for it, and then I knew I was on the right track. So yeah. It's really interesting too with my son in the school where he was. The teacher in the beginning of the year videotaped the children. I actually have the whole videotape series of his progress. So she videotaped the children and at where they were and in that first video, everything is really soft and down and flaccid and and he just his eyes were dim. And then at the end of the year, when they re-videotaped he was reading out of a book, a fifth grade level book. He was in first grade. He was reading out of a fifth grade level book with articulation. Muscles were strong and tight, and there was sparkle in his, and there was this innate pride about what he was doing. Yeah. So all of that got videoed, and his progress with the auditory integration got videoed too.
That's
I
beautiful.
should get those put onto a CD disc or a thumb drive or something, because they're on VHS tapes. But yeah, so sound.
That's beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. Okay, we today been talking about decisions,
Mm-hmm.
about surrendering, about sound. What else we today talk about?
Personal power and making your own decisions with.
Yeah, we can talk about. I have one client now who lives with very abusive landlord, and feels obviously trapped, but she doesn't move because she has two dogs, and it's very difficult to find any room with two little dogs, and I can understand that. But same time, she is telling that she is um, strong, and she stands up for herself. If you are strong and standing up for yourself, why you more than half year already live in this kind of hell? Yeah, where he is just locking doors to fridge. He locks kitchen away. She can't get food, yeah, or locks away dog's food, or takes away if he sees money in her hand, he takes away her money, yeah, and not giving back. So that kind of abuse, yeah. And she is strong and she is doing what she wants, standing up for herself.
Doesn't sound like that to me, but whatever she's getting from, she's getting something from it. And until she's done, then it's hard to say what's going on for her, right?
Some
Without
people,
talking to her. Yeah, Jeannie.
some people say it's better. It's better to be with the
Even
jerk you know than the jerk you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's people choose. It could be her upbringing. She had dealt with it in her upbringing, and it's just what life keeps on giving her, and she thinks that's the way people are. It could be a lot of reasons, but yeah, she's definitely not living in her power.
I think you are right about upbringing. I think you are right there with about upbringing. She needs to get her power away, power back.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
And she doesn't, so when you grow up in a situation and then plays out in your adult life, it's like you don't see that you have the power to choose. You're kind of giving it over to, this is the way life is. And she has no idea about manifesting a life the life she wants, and dreaming. It's, and in this busy world, we're not given, it's not considered appropriate to daydream. And yet daydream is where we start to create. And it's, and it sounds like she is not, she's stuck, even though she feels like she has power, she's really stuck. And it's, it would be beautiful to ask her if she could have the life that she wanted, what would it look like? Because she may never have thought about it, because she's just getting more of what she thinks.
And obviously, even this statement, what she told me, because she's not looking for anything else, because with two dogs, it's very difficult to find room. Yeah.
Yeah, and as long as she keeps on saying that, that's gonna be her life.
I would say, and so it is.
Like straight away, you already imagine myself saying the same thing what Morganne is saying, and so it is.
Right.
Yeah, if you want exactly like that, you will get exactly like that.
Right. Exactly. So she has two problems there. One is that she can't find a place for her dogs, and another thing is that the landlord. I mean, so it's not just the landlord that's a problem. It's the finding a place for the dog. So it's two blocks that she has that she's not dealing with, you know, and that she's limiting her life in.
Yeah.
I mean, think about if she had undid those blocks, how fully she could live in her life. You know, like what her life would look like. It would be beautiful to explore.
You know, I'm just gonna. I had the Amazon motivational angel visit me yesterday, and this is in regard to what you're saying. The Amazon motivational angel. So right now, I think you both know about the motorhome that I inherited, right? Well, I'm in the process of selling. I'm going to sell it, right? Because I made my decision, right? I've made a decision based on a lot of things, right? And I've made a good decision. So I'm in the motorhome doing just like really fine detail stuff, and the Amazon driver pulls up to deliver a package to the neighbor. And she comes over, she goes, "Wow, this is a beautiful rig you have here." She called it a rig. I go, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah." So, she was like admiring it, and she goes, "Can I come in?" So she comes in, looks, and I says, "Yeah, I did all of this. I restored this, and was showing everything I did." She goes, "You have done a beautiful job." She said, "I live in a travel trailer because I have two dogs, and finding an apartment is sometimes problematic." She goes, "I have the most freedom when I live in my travel trailer." So it's like, you know, your client's thoughts is limited, right? It's because she's stuck there in that. This woman opened up to, she lives in a forested area in her travel trailer. She has her dog, she has freedom. It's like it's a whole, it's just dream
How do you?
a different way.
It sounds very great, but how she manages to live in travel trailer?
I don't know. I didn't ask her. She was only there for what, 2 minutes? I don't know. And she needed to go off to her job, but it doesn't matter how it shows up. Once you make a decision, you got to make the decision first. If you don't make a decision and you're in the problem of it, then your problem is just going to keep on manifesting over and over again because you keep affirming it over. That's where I get the, well, and so it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she's choosing it over and over and over again. That's that. Once you make a decision, then you need to make the choice to move in the direction of it, right? So you can make decisions all day long, but you got to move in the direction of it. So if she made a new decision that she has a wonderful place to live for her and her dogs, she has to stop talking about the bad stuff. She has to stop it because she creates it over and over again through her thoughts and her feelings and her spoken word. She's speaking it out.
Right. And she has to visualize what she wants, and
Mm-hmm.
there's something about she's talking about power, like how she has her power, and yet it's like a blind spot. She doesn't have any power as long as she lives with this man. She's not living the life she wants. I mean, for this man to lock up everything, it's taking away her power left and right. And it's like it's until she it's all about waking up to your blind spots and being aware. Like she's not even aware that she has these blind spots.
Yep.
And that's what blind spots are. But
Yep.
you know, she's telling herself a lie and believing it.
Yep.
And people do that all the time. You know, it's waking up to the fact that she's not living her truth.
Yep. I mean, even basically, does she deserve to live in a home where she's free to eat when she wants? It's like that. She's boxed herself into a conflict there that until she makes a new decision, she's just going to stay there. That's just the way it is.
She's choosing to stay stuck.
Yeah.
The problem is not only she because of dogs she doesn't have opportunity to move and don't look for this room. There is financial problems as well.
Of course there is.
There always is.
There always is. Yep. It's like when you're in a limitation thinking, you're going to have so many limitation conversations. Oh, I don't have enough money. Oh, yeah, I got to stay here. I'm stuck. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. And so look at Morganne with her son. She didn't have the money for that, but it showed up. And that's the thing. It does when you fully embrace your dream and you can feel it. You can feel it in your body, and you start living as though, and it just, the universe, it's like the quote that Morganne read to us. It's like the universe shows, propels us forward in our dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it brings everything to you because think of it this way too. It's not just us that wants the dream. It's the dream that wants us. That's why it comes to us. That's why I loved what you said about daydreaming, right? If we can suspend thinking and reliance on the exterior world, right? And we move into that sacred place of it's sacred. Daydreaming is sacred, right? It's where the beautiful things show up. But then it's when we move back into the world and go, oh yeah, well, this is my life, right? It's like moving into that daydreaming and seeing again. Daydreaming gives you what else is possible. This is what else is possible, right? This could be possible. Well, that would be the right time. I would just say, Holy Spirit, I love this idea. I want to align with this idea. Show me, it's like get excited about it and energized about it. That's using your words, your emotional frequency, your decision making, all at the same time in a really fun, lovely way, right? It's like, wow. And that's how Wisdom Sanctuary showed up for me, right? So it's like it was through a daydream. That's how it first started, was through wow. And then the night visions would come that would tell me what to do. So it's like living in possibility allows you to extract yourself from what we think is all there is in the world. Because if we think this is all there is, then we're at victimhood with the world. And that's sad. That's very sad.
I don't know about you, but I think I don't know about your guidance, but I think today would be very perfect timing for something, for creation, for us to move forward, to go daydreaming and move forwards with something in life. That kind of meditation. What you think?
Do it.
No, you do it. No. You are the master. You are the master.
Well, I don't know about all that. I am committed to my authenticity my wackiness as it is. I'm not normal. I love that I'm not normal. Normal is not something you want to strive to be. So let's just see where I'm being called to bring this quote back up. So let's just see where we go with this. Okay, we got about 6 minutes here.
Okay.
Okay. Hi everybody. Oh boy, we get to go within. I love this time. All right.
Me
All right. So first of all, I want you to just start by looking around you. Just look where you are. Look around. Where are you sitting? And what are you looking at? What do you see in your space? And just move your eyes around and move your eyes up. What do you see that's up? Because a lot of times we don't look up. And then what do you see down? And then why don't you turn around and what's behind you? Look on both sides. What's behind you? We often don't look at what's behind us. So we're looking at what's before us, what's behind us, what's above us, what's below us, right? And this is your physical manifest world that you live in. You like live in this bubble of this. So here you are, just acknowledge where you are. And then come to your body. Just move right into your body and feel into your body what your body's feeling looking at your world. The side to side, the up and down, the forward and backward. What's your body feeling about that? And that's the outer world. So let's take a breath and move our sight, our inner sight, to our inner world. Take a breath in, and as you do, gently close your eyes. Breath in. Breath out, and as you breath out, just relax, let go. And with your eyes closed, we're going to take another breath in because I'm feeling like we're not quite there yet. So take another breath in, allowing that breath to just go in and let the breath go. Again, relaxing. And I invite you to move your energy into your heart area. It could be your physical beating heart, or it could be the heart chakra area. It doesn't matter. Just with your breath, begin to breathe into and from your heart area. And so breathe with me 3 beautiful breaths into your heart area and exhale from the heart area. And one more breath into the heart and exhale. And as we do this, we're bringing awareness to our innermost sanctuary. And just bring your attention there. And as you bring your attention there, I invite you to think about one thing that you may be deciding. Maybe you're making a decision. Maybe you're having an insight. And if it's a decision that you need to make or desire to make, bring that decision right now or that insight right now to your heart area. Just formulate that decision or that thought or that new idea. Put it like a beautiful, like a crystal or a seed idea. I like the idea of a seed, that it's a seed idea, and see it maybe as a seed and plant it there in your heart. Take a breath in, plant your seed idea. And remember, in all the other shows, I talk about the carrot seed, right? If you're going to plant a carrot seed, you got to plant a carrot. If you're going to grow a carrot, you got to plant a carrot seed. So if you want to plant a beautiful new idea, you got to plant the idea, not the things around it that hold you back from it, but that idea, pure and clean and beautiful, your beautiful new seed idea. And plant that in your heart, and maybe even visualize seeing your seed idea just right there in your heart. And as you look at that seed, as you visit that seed within you, I want you to think about the potential of that seed. This seed that you said yes to, that you planted in your heart, within that seed is the potential. Just think about that for a moment. Take a breath into that idea. Within the seed is potential for what this idea is. And it's simply the potential at this time. Now, how do you activate this seed? We first activate it by saying, thank you. Thank you for giving this to me. Thank you. And in that gratitude and the attitude of gratitude, that seed begins to activate within you. How do you nurture it? So that's an activation by being grateful for receiving it, right? In gratitude, I receive this. Take a breath in. Now that you've received, you've put your seed there, you've received it, and you've activated it. Say yes. Yes, I choose this. Yes, I choose this seed idea. And feel into what it feels like to simply say yes. Yes to this idea. From this gratitude of receiving it, yes. Another breath in. And as you do that breath in, I want you to relax into your yes. Another breath in. Relax into the yes. Now, as you have said yes to this idea that chose you, and now you have chosen the idea, and you have said yes, and you have nurtured it with gratitude, check into that seed idea within your heart space and just see if anything's changed. And maybe it has, and maybe you can't sense or feel it, and that's okay. Sometimes some seeds take a little longer. Some seeds get activated right away. But allow yourself to leave your seed idea right there in your heart, in the gratitude, in the choosing. in that resonance where you now the idea has chosen you and you have chosen it. That's powerful. Take a breath in, smile, because your world's about to change. And just relax into that. And as you surrender right now to that relaxation, I ask you to surrender also to the choice. Just relax in it. Let it be. There's nothing to scramble for on the outside to make it happen. Allow the beautiful universe, that manifests everything. Allow the universe to manifest this for you. Breath in. On the out breath again, relax again. Surrendering to the wisdom of the universe. Surrendering to the co-creative powers of the universe. It needs you as much as we need it. It's a co-creative process. We said yes. The universe said yes. Breath in. Breath out. Relax. And so it is.
Oh, thank you, Morganne. Oh, thank you. Really, do you have anything to say?
Um, Again, I'm grateful for being here and all that you put, being in a sacred space, and the wisdom that's coming out of it. It's really powerful, and anybody who's listening, I'm glad that you're listening, and hope you got as much out of it. And thank you.
I think everybody who is listening us will get as much they are possibly to handle from this, as much they are able to hear from this. But I think it's very much like when we go into our course in miracles every year. We looking at this course in miracles completely different way, and opens up more and not more depth in it. I think it's the same with all this wisdom Morganne is sharing in these shows, that every time when you're watching, and if now we watch back very first show, I think it will be completely different. That's what we hear that. So yeah, I invite everybody to watch back our shows, because there is plenty of wisdom you can learn from. Thank you very much, everybody who is watching. Thank you who will be watching. And please like, share, subscribe to my YouTube and Rumble channels, so we can share wide and far all this knowledge and wisdom, which one comes from our hearts, which one comes from Creator and Holy Spirit. So have a great week and God bless.